Greetings, school gang! Lich here with episode 5 of our Burgertime adventures. Last week I got so much done, including building the plots for our next 3 villages, so I thought today could be a bit more relaxing, a bit more chill, and more focused on things like doing our daily tasks and just general island tidying. So if you are an Animal Crossing player, play along with me and let's do our dailies together. Alongside this, as you can see, we do have a little DIY workshop with Nook as well, which will benefit us later as we start to think about all of the cool custom designs we want to add to Burgertime to make it truly unique. First task though, as always, is checking the post. And I forgot about my lovely new haircut and colour. It feels so good. There is nothing unexpected in our mailbox today, just all of the bits that I ordered from the Nook terminal last episode. So once we've collected all of that, we're going to hop on over to Nook's Cranny to check out what is for sale today. The eagle-eyed amongst you will be able to see that in the background there is not one, but 2 new NPCs that we need to introduce ourselves today, but I will get to that in a little bit. Also, sorry Fuchsia, I didn't realise you were calling out to me until I'd already walked into the shop. My bad. As you can see, Timmy and Tommy have a selection of new things in stock, so I buy everything, regardless of whether or not I actually like it, before heading on over to greet the strangers who are visiting the island today. First up is Harvey. He's something of a walking stereotype. I'll be honest, something about him rubs me the wrong way, but I can't put my finger on it, so I think ultimately he's harmless and my vibes detector is just messing me up with regards to him. But either way, the most important thing about him is that his island is next door to Burgertime, and it is actually a pretty cool space. There is lots of potential for creativity, and further down the line, it is ridiculously useful for accessing services of various NPCs on demand as well. So here he is inviting us to his island, but we are going to check that out later because for now, there is someone far more interesting walking around. It's Red! Red is a travelling merchant who occasionally stops by islands to sell very legitimate and definitely not fake works of art. I really like him, and I view him as very similar to Tom Nook in a lot of ways. Like a 2 sides of the same coin sort of thing. Because in the past, fan interpretations of Nook have often re-evaluated his assistance as devious, especially because in older games, players start out having to basically enter into indentured servitude with Nook. But with Red, he's very obviously portrayed in-game as sneaky and trustworthy from the get-go. But I just really love the idea that actually, far from being cunning, he's actually an idiot. One of my favourite Tumblr posts is the one where someone describes their headcanon of Red and Blathers looking at Michelangelo's David that Red has for sale, and he has no idea what he has in his possession because he just thought it looked neat and decided to name it the Fat Nut statue. It is the best, and I'm totally on board with that interpretation of him, in addition to the idea of him and Tom Nook actually being exes. That is a fandom headcanon that I am very, very much on board with. Talking of on board, Red has relocated to his boat and has invited us along as well. So here we are. He parks up at the secret beach, probably to avoid his ex Tom Nook, and we can see what wares he has for sale. Every time Red visits, he will always have 4 pieces of art and 2 random pieces of furniture for sale. But any of the art has the potential of being a fake, which means that if you try to donate it to the museum, Blathers won't accept it. Before you agree to buy each piece from Red, you can observe it to see if it differs in some way from the real-life pieces of art on which they're based. So that's how you're able to determine whether or not they're real. So, for example, here, the wistful painting is very clearly the girl with the pearl earring. A fake may have the earring swapped out for something else or just be missing entirely. I think also her headscarf can be a different color, but sometimes the fakes are very subtle and sometimes they are glaringly obvious. I like to look at each piece before I decide which to buy, and I thought it'd be nice to share with you all what he has on offer. So, let's take a look at the next painting. Now, I'm not familiar with the amazing painting. I actually had to look it up, and apparently it is a very famous painting by Rembrandt called The Night Watch, so that's embarrassing. The guide I looked up also revealed to me that this piece is genuine. In the fake version, the dude in the front is not wearing a hat. So that's 2 genuine pieces from Red so far. Next up is the Mystic statue based on the bust of Nefertiti. And this one's real too. What the heck, Red? I'm spoiled for choice here. I forgot to mention before now, by the way, but you can only buy 1 piece of art from Red each time he visits. So if you have multiple real pieces of art, you have to choose the one you want most. And finally, here is the informative statue, which I'm sure many folks will probably recognize as literally being the Rosetta Stone. How did Red get a hold of this? It's genuine too. According to the guide I found online, the fake one is conspicuously blue in color. Regardless, it is mine now. I'm going to try not to think about whether I am now the latest in a long line of imperialist powers stealing and trying to claim important historical works of art as their own, and instead look forward to giving Blathers his first sculpture for the art exhibit of the museum tomorrow. He's going to be so happy. Thanks, Red. Bye! Alright, time for some dailies. Have you gone around your island looking for fossils yet today? Now is the time! I left a lot of footage of me meandering around in because I wanted to give you a good look at Burgertime as it currently stands, but also take some time to talk about my plans for it. So, we still have quite a bit to do before the early game content for Animal Crossing is completed, but I've been pondering decorations and stuff for when I finally get access to things like terraforming. I mentioned in a previous video that my OG island Snugshore is like a cottagecore in nature sort of island, but it doesn't necessarily have a consistent theme. And one of the things I really wanted to do for Burgertime was to try and work within certain parameters to create an island with a defined aesthetic. But also, I want to give folks a say because it could be that maybe one idea is overdone, or one idea sparks joy more than others, or something like that. Anyway, there are 2 different themes I want to try out, both with an overarching aesthetic. One is Spooky City, and the other is Spooky Farm. Importantly, by spooky, I mean like pumpkins and stuff, rather than like blood and gore and crime scenes. I know we just had Halloween, but I've been thinking about this for a while, I swear, and the aesthetic is sticking to me, and I vibe with it a lot. The reason I'm drawn to these 2 particular quite different sort of settings, the city and the farm, is well, they're both so different actually. With the city in particular, I feel like it's really different to what I've done before on my own island, because that is very natural and very whimsical. Plus, the idea of doing like a cool crowded street with stalls and a big market and stuff, kind of like those Akihabara-styled Animal Crossing builds that you see on Tumblr and Pinterest, that really appeals to me, and I've never really been able to do that kind of thing on Snugshore. I just think that it could work really well here and just be a completely different experience. And because I want it to be spooky, I'm picturing, like, as a color scheme, a lot of oranges, purples, twinkling lights, stuff like that for the color scheme. I'm really thinking, like, costume quest, that sort of energy. As for the spooky farm, I think that one is exciting because I know a lot of the items from the 2.0 Animal Crossing update that happened last year would be perfect for that sort of theme. There are moss items, there are wheat fields, there is patchwork sofas and ranch furniture. I can picture it in my mind and I can really see it working. And it's very easy to make spooky too. Lots of pumpkins, a bit of green, like lots of scary wheat fields, scarecrows, yellow, green, orange color scheme. I just feel really inspired. But at the same time, I'm very indecisive because I do not know which aesthetic to pick. So I very much would appreciate your help here. Which aesthetic, dear viewer, do you like the sound of the best? Is there a particular one that sparks joy? Also, can we just all collectively lament that I still have not crafted a slingshot, so I have to pathetically watch every balloon that passes me by? Back to the topic at hand. Which aesthetic that I described do you think sounds the best? Is there one that's overdone? Do you have a different style that you'd like to see me try instead? Please let me know. Comment below, tell me in Discord, mention it in my Twitch streams. I need your advice, so thank you. Fuchsia, as you can see, is also very on board with the Burgertime beautification process. She is ridiculously kind, especially considering I accidentally bopped her with a shovel just there. She gives me a park bench to make Burgertime look cuter, I guess. Time for me to completely forget about that, though, so that I can search for my money rock instead. Okay, next daily for those of you who are playing along. Have you ordered your 5 items from the Nook Stop today? Do it! Even if you don't think you'd need the items, it could be the perfect thing for a future build that you haven't even thought of yet. Nothing too exciting for sale today, but as you can see, I order the KK album, the handcart, perfect for farmcore, and 3 of the floor lights, good for city aesthetics. Now I'm going to indulge Tom Nook and do the customization workshop. Basically, customization means we can make certain furniture items have different colors and patterns, which is brilliant. You can get really creative with it. But first, we need a wardrobe. So bear with me 1 second.
A few minutes later.
One quick trip home to collect the wood for it later, and we are back. Okay, let's see what Nook has to say. There we go, nice and easy. And Nook lets us keep a bunch of the customization kits too, so we can test it out on other things. I deliberately brought along one of the large mushroom platforms I bought from the Nook Stop last episode for this purpose. You can customize them to be either red, green, or blue. Red is the default, so I made a green one and I plonked it down outside my house. Looking cute! Okay, now I'm thinking I should probably introduce myself to Burgertime's new resident. Stu moved in today, and I haven't even said hi yet. Seems like he's pretty busy unpacking everything, but I wanted to show my face all the same. Now onto more chores. Animal Crossing players, have you done your first 5 Nookmars Plus tasks today? Let's do them together! Mine are to complete DIY projects, dive for sea creatures, talk to my neighbours, chop wood, and catch fish. I've already spoken to Stu and Fuchsia today, so let's go talk to Sparrow to get that first task signed off. And look, he's crafting! It's a double win! A beekeeper's hive is perfect for a farm-themed island. Just saying. One task down. Now let's take a leaf out of Sparrow's book and do some DIY. I need an axe for the wood chopping task, but also I've been meaning to make new DIY benches for a while, so I decided to craft 2 to place around the island so I don't need to go to resident services every time I want to make something. Next up is chopping wood. Nothing much to report here, I just get the job done. fishing time now. The fish are, as usual, reluctant to make themselves known, but eventually I do find a nice mix of them, including an annoying rock that fully breaks my fishing rod. Once I've crafted a new one, I continue on to catch the remaining fish I need. I got a bunch of new ones as well, so they will be going to bladders later. The final Nook Mars Plus task I have is to dive for sea creatures. Thankfully in daylight this time compared to the last video. I snag enough to get the miles and then I call it there. Sadly I didn't find a clam for Pascal, which is a shame. But I do have plenty of things to donate to Blathers, so that's good. Here we are at the museum, and this will be the last thing I do this video. Unlike the previous couple of days where there were loads of tasks to complete, the early day Animal Crossing content stalls for a bit while the 3 new villagers move in. So over the next few days there is less demand for our services as Burgertime's resident representative. So that's where I'm going to call today's video. I'm going to help Stu finish unpacking so that he's ready for the next episode when hopefully we'll be welcoming either Wendy or Celia to the island. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts on island themes and please be sure to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one, folks. Bye for now!